AI is being weird. Should we fix it? If you think we should, here are 4 AI terms you need to know. Tuning, grounding, rag, chain of thought. AI is not in a good place. It's just acting way too weird. It's making stuff up. It is hallucinating. And all this weird AI has been getting a lot of coverage. It's eroding people's trust in technology. Not just the trust of normal people, but even public figures with huge audiences. And also huge institutions with a lot of money. And for big tech companies, this is very concerning, especially for their executive class. You see, these companies are the most valuable in the world, and they are investing so much of their money into artificial intelligence. They are all in on it. And it's because AI is their best idea for growth. By growth, I mean the stock price goes up. But that only goes well if people actually want to use artificial intelligence. They're not going to use it if they don't trust it. This is why big tech needs to stop AI from being weird. That's where these 4 terms come into play. They help AI be less weird and more consistent. Let's get into it. Number 1, tuning. The big AI companies all have their own core AI model, or what they'll call a foundational model. And these models are built by consuming massive data sets. And by massive, I mean like the entire internet scale massive. But by doing this, there's a couple inherent problems. First, as large as they are, they don't have everything in them, especially new data as it's being created, like news or the latest episode of some TV show. Second, the models work by generating an average of all this data. Because of this, the AI models can handle a wide range of tasks, but it also lacks focus and nuance. Tuning can help here. It can provide that extra level of focus that these models need in order to do something really well. For example, I could ask an AI to write an essay, and I'll get a pretty average response. Like literally that's what it's supposed to do. But let's say I wanted it to write more like me, using my words, my voice, my style. I would gather up examples of my writing, let's say 10 essays. This would be my data set. I would tune the model against that data set. The model will then lean or weigh itself towards my writing. Now I have an AI model that can write more like me. Tuning helps AI do certain tasks better, but it doesn't really address weird AI. It still leaves open these blind spots that can still cause a lot of trouble. It boils down to this. AI doesn't know what it doesn't know. But what if it did? What if it understood its own lack of knowledge? Number 2, grounding. Let's say somebody asks you a question and you don't know what the answer is. You could lie, that would be bad. You can try to infer what the word means, but that's effectively guessing. You can say, I don't know. That's not great, but at least it's honest. Or you can say, hold on a minute. Let me look this up. This is where grounding comes in. With grounding, AI isn't relying on just the information that it already internalized. Instead, it actually reaches out externally beyond of what it knows to get information from another source, a third party. And it doesn't have to be just any source. It could be sources that you vet and deem trustworthy. Speaking of which, you might have seen these big deals between tech and traditional publishers. The reason that they're doing it is because these tech companies, they want to ground against the information that those publishers have created, because presumably they're trustworthy enough to ground against. The publisher will be getting money for basically allowing these AI models to tap into them. And for tech companies, it makes their AI more valuable, which gets us to trust it and ultimately makes the stock price go up. Win-win for everybody. So, grounding. Super simple concept. If you don't know something, go look it up. So why doesn't AI just do this? Number 3, RAG. Retrieval Augmented Generation. You're going to be hearing this term a lot more. It sounds like a pretty complicated term. It's just tech people being gatekeepy. Here's the knowledge that's being withheld from you. When people say RAG, for all intents and purposes, they just mean grounding. See, grounding is the concept of looking up information, but RAG is a way to actually do it. There is some nuance there, but for 95% of you, you just need to know that RAG basically means grounding. It's actually right there, hidden in plain sight. It's just written backwards. Let's break it down. Generation. That's easy. We're talking about generative AI. Augmented. Attach or make better. How are we making generative AI better? Retrieval. Fetch from someplace else or look it up. Retrieval Augmented Generation. Basically grounding. You really don't need to know the specifics unless you're an engineer. But let's say you are, or you want to at least know what they're thinking. Well, here's the other secret about Retrieval Augmented Generation and why it's not deserving of much nuance. RAG itself isn't very specific. It's about as specific as saying, hey, I'm really hungry. Well, eating would make me feel less hungry. Oh, I should eat a sandwich. Well, there's a lot of different ways to make a sandwich, and then there's a lot of different ingredients to make a sandwich with. And the sandwich you make ultimately depends on what you want and need. We can even argue about what constitutes a sandwich. RAG. But let's not go there. The point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of different ways to implement Retrieval Augmented Generation. So many that being particular about it doesn't really have much meaning. So unless you want or need to be pedantic, RAG just means you're having AI look things up. RAG effectively means grounding. Number 4, chain of thought. That's COT for all you prompt and engineers out there. Tuning, grounding, RAG. These are ways to address weird AI. And the way that they address it is by improving the AI that's already there and somehow. Chain of thought is different because chain of thought doesn't actually try to improve AI. It tries to use what's already there. It's not a fix, it's a hack. It tricks the AI to use its existing behavior to make its responsive better. To understand how chain of thought works, you need to understand a little bit about how these AI themselves work. Have you noticed that when you are using an AI chatbot, you see every word spelled out? It's not doing this because it's trying to act human, like a friend trying to type you a message. This is actually the AI at work. It's writing a word, then it's trying to predict the next word that goes after it, one right after the other. And you're seeing it happen in real time. But this could take a while, especially with bigger and more advanced models. And the people that develop those models know this. And they also know that if it takes too long, you're going to get annoyed, you're going to get impatient. What chain of thought does is basically compels the AI to take its time. And it does it by asking the AI to string more words together to hopefully come up with better results. One easy way to trigger a chain of thought is just to ask an AI to explain the steps. The AI is compelled to do so because it wants to fully address the prompt. This still doesn't guarantee that the response is correct, but seeing the steps are drawn out might give you more opportunities to catch issues. There's a couple big problems with chain of thought. First is that it takes more time to work. This might be okay if you're patient, but unless we have to show our work, we actually just want the right answer as fast as possible. Why compromise on speed in the first place? The second problem is directly related to the first. It simply costs more to run these types of prompts. As users, that's not supposed to be our problem. But eventually, the tech companies are going to want to make up for this. They'll increase subscription costs, or introduce ads, or even both. By using chain of thought, you're basically running a prompt that costs 2 to 3 times more than what you would normally just type in. It's basically throwing money at a problem with the hopes that more compute is going to solve the problem. In summary, AI dumb, make better. Tuning, make AI better with more information. Grounding, make AI look up information. RAG, actually make AI look up information. Chain of thought, make AI spend more time to explain itself. Now, will these 4 methods really fix weird AI? Probably not. And I use the word probably very purposefully. AI is not going to stop being weird, and big tech has admitted as much. But it's not because they're lazy and they don't want to solve the problem. You see, this latest wave of AI fundamentally works on statistics and probability. It's effectively analyzing the knowledge of the internet and spitting out an average, or an inference. It's as indisputable as 1 + 1 = 2. It's literally math. While these terms won't fix weird AI 100%. They can tilt the odds in the right direction. And then there's also the human factor. Services like search or social media, they were never infallible, but we all just got used to it. And we collectively figured out what our tolerance was. There's some irony here. If AI works by averaging out the sum knowledge of all of us, maybe all of us need to average out how much we want to trust it. This is my first video, so like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, comment. Tell me what you think and tell me what you want more of. It's Richard. Thanks for watching.